Hi, how's everyone doing today? I hope everyone's doing really well. Today we're making our dessert of the week, and it's at the request of my sweet husband who asked if I would make oatmeal raisin cookies because they are one of his favorites and don't make them too terribly often. Actually, I don't know that I've ever made officially just oatmeal raisin cookies. I usually kind of wind up being like, oh, couldn't find raisins, chocolate chips, because that's what I prefer. And he usually puts up with me. Uh, I did make that cookie cake for him, though, for his birthday last year. Did do that. But he's so sweet and he's so helpful and he's so good to me. So when he very nicely asked to have oatmeal raisin cookies, I was like, I'm going to look up some really good recipes and see like what's rated really well, like what's the best oatmeal raisin cookie out there, and I found one, and that's what we're gonna make today, so let's get to it. It's time for another episode of Cooking with Kaitlin. That's me. Enjoy! Alright, so the first tip on the recipe is that you have a cup of raisins, you put them in the measuring cup, and then you fill it till it's just covered with water. And we're going to let them soak for 10 minutes, then drain and dry. Blot them dry. So just wanted to remind of this tip. Because again, he's so sweet. We're trying to make the best oatmeal raisin cookies ever. So just that, and then we'll move on one sec. All right, next we have a cup and a half of flour. We can get our dry ingredients together and ready, set to the side. Need a teaspoon of baking soda. A little bit of that fell, so I'm just gonna get just a smidge. And there we go. And then half a teaspoon of salt. Because remember, salt always enhances the flavors. So it's typically included in baked goods. Don't skip it just because you think salt doesn't taste sweet. Salt enhances the sweet. All right, so just combining those. That's good. All right, one sec. All right, now we have 2 sticks of butter, so that's 1 cup that we've let sit out and get to room temperature. We're gonna cream these first before we add in anything else. And I'm just, okay, scooch it a little closer to you guys. Just opted to use my stand mixer. You could use a hand mixer if you felt the urge, whichever makes more sense for you. You do you. Just gonna be creaming that. Kind of let it do that where it flies around some. And I know I could be using some of my homemade butter, but guys, it tastes so good. So it'd actually probably be good in this too, but it tastes so good that we've been eating it on plenty of things, and we certainly don't have a cup of it left. Gonna have to make some more, obviously, to use for things like this. But oh my goodness, so good. So, because I thought about it, and then I was like, oh yeah, no, I don't even think there's half a cup. It's fine, it's all good. Alright, let me just get that out, make sure. You want to make sure you're getting it all nice and at that kind of same texture all around. So just doing that before we add in anything else. Alright, I'll check back when it's ready. Alright, now we're going to add in 1 cup of packed dark brown sugar. And let that go. One sec. We're also going to pour in a 1/4 cup of regular granulated sugar. Let that get all nice and creamy. Just be letting that go like we need to. Excuse me. All right. Gonna just kind of check. That's creaming up really well. That's awesome. Very nice. Just gonna scrape down sides. Good times, good times. All right. Then we're gonna kick it back on to stir. We're gonna add in our first egg, then our second egg. Let those get in there nice and creamy, creamified, what have you. Wipe up the egg though. Not a bad thing to make sure we've done. And I'm actually, while that's going on, I'm going to be draining our raisins because we've hit the 10-minute mark. We don't want them to get too watery, too overplumped. But the water in it up just helps plump them up enough according to the instructions. And I'm just drying them off to the side. Sorry guys, just with paper towels. We don't want excess moisture. We want them plump, but we don't want excess moisture that affects the baking. All right, I'm sure I could actually be adding in other stuff, and if I had a sous chef with me or a guest chef with me, I totally would. But these are kind of a surprise for the hubs. Even though he asked for them, I kind of shoot him off like I wasn't gonna be making them. It's like, oh, I have other plans. And then I was like, let me find the best recipe ever for you. But you don't know it yet. And guest chef D is not in town visiting, nor am I in town visiting her. All right. So there we go there. Alrighty. Time now for adding in a tablespoon of vanilla extract. So we know these are going to be some sweet cookies. And I have a tablespoon. Let me rinse the vanilla out of it real fast. Tablespoon of molasses, which we don't normally have. Actually, if guest chef D is in for a long visit, we tend to have it more often. She likes molasses on things at least more than I do. But maybe I'll find something to make with them. Or if she comes in town soon, she'll just eat them up and we can send them home with her. One of the two. Go down. Though they do taste better than I remember them tasting as a child. There was just something a little, I don't even know what, as a kid that just never quite appealed to me in that sense. But yeah. Sorry, doing a quick rinse because I will need my stuff in a little bit of time. Alrighty. Now we're going to add in, what I'm going to do is scrape down, make sure I've gotten all this. thoroughly mix now that we've got all our wet ingredients combined. Let's just make sure everything is well mixed. I'm seeing a few little bits of things that are not quite so. So let's go a little fast and just do it. Alrighty. Pour in some of our dry mixture. Sorry, I just try to keep it from flying up, as it frequently does. So it's going and going now. All right. It's good. We're gonna keep adding more in there. Sorry, just for the initial bit where it typically flies up. All right. Okay, that's good. Do our cinnamon in there while that's happening. Need about 1.5 teaspoons. That was a heaping teaspoon, so I just added a little bit, and that should be right around what we need. I am done with those now. All right, I'm gonna do that. And then I'm gonna do another scrape to get all the dry in there before we have the last of our things to add in. And I know you haven't heard me mention preheating the oven yet. It's because we're actually, after we do this, we're gonna chill the dough for a little while in the fridge and then bake it. So that is why I haven't discussed preheating the oven yet, in case you are curious and didn't scroll down to the directions below. All right. It's looking good. And I'm going to lift out for all of these things. Oh, go down, go down. All right. Just going to put in our raisins. Probably should have done the oats first, but we're going to let it all kind of go in there. It's 3 cups of oats, that 1 cup of raisins that we soaked, then dried. There's one that's stuck down there. Then actually we also have 1/2 cup of chopped pecans, just to be fancy, because we can. All right, just letting that incorporate itself as it wants to. And then we'll kind of check it in a sec. It looks pretty done. That's looking good. And smelling good and sweet too, like we would want. All right. Just let it down there. Get all that off. All right, and then I'm just going to refrigerate this. It's anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes. So we'll check back after that. All right, it's been a little over half an hour, probably about 45 minutes, honestly. So we're just going to scoop, shape our cookies, and put them on a parchment lined piece of paper. The oven is preheated to 350. So it did mention when it mattered. Just going to do this, and we'll be putting them in the oven. I'll check back in a sec. All right, now we're going to bake these for about 12 to 14 minutes. We'll check back when they are out of the oven. It should have spread out a little bit more on the top ones, but these ones are pretty good. So there we are. We're just going to let them cool, and then we'll be able to eat them. All right, bon appetit. See you later.